It's in the area between the ocean and the hills, and that's some of those sheer cliffs in the area, so it'll take a while for the fire to get up and over that if it does, or get into the canyons and go down 33. No evacuations have been ordered on the Solimar fire, as it is called, but we have a hard closure. One other point I want to bring out to you that I feel is very important here is that residents in that area that may be asleep, that may not be viewing us right now, that you may know of, you might want to give them a call and get them alerted that there is a fire, that it's out of control. It's burning where we have said in the Solimar Beach area, and you can see the type of fire that we're talking about. It doesn't have those long flame lengths, but obviously it is very dangerous and very explosive in this condition, and has the potential to have a lot of acreage chewed up by this fire before it's said and done. And you need to be able to tell your friends and loved ones down there to wake up and find out where they live, and to get a ready, set, go plan in place in case they are told to evacuate. We have no word on evacuations now in that general region. But as this fire has a mind of its own, and with the winds, as we say, 30 to 50 miles an hour possibly in that area, we have the potential for this fire to spread. And they need to know that, and need to know what they're going to do. Obviously, they're not going north. They'll need to go another direction if they're instructed to do so by the authorities with the Highway Patrol, the Ventura County Sheriff, or the Ventura County Police Department. Right now, no evacuations are ordered, but you certainly want to tell somebody down there what's going on and let them get ready to go and take it seriously. Don't wait around until it's too late, because with these winds and this type of a populated area, if they're told to go, they need to get going immediately, and not try and stick it out on this type of explosive and very dangerous fire. As they say, 100 plus acres have burned. Hard to get a measurement on it with these conditions, with the wind blowing, the dark skies, as we crest over midnight right now. And as we see there in this live picture on News Channel 3 of the Solimar Beach fire, blowing embers now, getting into other dry, brushy conditions. This fire is burning after this long, extended drought that we have been in of over 4 years. And even though we've had some spotty rain coming through the area with the strong winds we have had, these areas are in no condition to be considered out of the drought or not fireproof by any way, shape, or form, especially with these winds. So let's see what's going on. We can definitely see some of the direction of the winds with this image. Claire Anderson's in our First Alert Weather Center with some pinpoint weather information. Claire?
Yeah, John, we were talking about these winds earlier this evening, saying we were going to see a high wind warning. They were going to pick up this evening. Unfortunately, we were not expecting this. All it takes is that one little spark to pick up, especially when it is so dry and windy. I do want to show you again this map on the 101 as you're driving between Carpinteria down towards Ventura, right in this area. Now, latest wind speeds right at the latest spot where it's being reported is around 42 mile per hour gusts, 32 miles per hour as you head up into the mountains. But gusty, windy conditions continue in the area. Big wind gusts as you head towards Oxnard, even up in Santa Barbara. The Santa Barbara Wharf had a gust up to 50 miles per hour this evening. So everywhere, Santa Barbara down towards Los Angeles, very strong winds. We had a 38 mile per hour gust near Oxnard again as you head up towards Ojai, strong winds there. We also have a high wind warning in effect. This is the highest level of warning we have for winds. Gusts possible up to 60 miles per hour in this area. And look, this doesn't expire until 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So winds are not expected to stop anytime soon with this event. Even a wind advisory in effect for the Santa Barbara South Coast area. Winds have been very strong there. And it's also, you can see right into Oxnard area. So everywhere is getting hit by these winds. No relief. I also want to talk about humidity. It's an important factor with these fires. Very dry conditions. 28% relative humidity compared to the entire Central Coast from Oxnard up to Paso Robles. That is the driest spot is in the Oxnard area. We haven't seen rain in that area for a very long time, and there's no rain forecasted as of now. I do want to show you this map of the wind directions. You see the Oxnard is getting those winds coming up over the mountains, heading towards the south area, heading towards the water, and that's where the winds are expected to go throughout this. So we're keeping a close eye on it, but remember, as it heads over the mountains, it can change direction. You saw the swirling of the embers, everything. That's where they're closing down that freeway because it's really unpredictable. Here's that futurecast wind again this evening, 1 a.m. tomorrow morning. Winds are not stopping. Where you have this blue color, the green color, that's where they really pick up. Watch this clock, 2:30. Still strong towards Santa Barbara, Ojai area. This is exactly where that fire is. Continuing 5 a.m. all the way 9:30. Another thing that does concern me, look at this. This is green and yellow. This is a Santa Ana event, and that's very close to where this fire is. We're expecting that to happen here through the weekend. So not good news on the wind front. We're not getting a break of that. And check it out. Winds do continue to pick up right in this area. So, John, winds are not good, dry conditions. We're going to keep a close eye on it. I will let you know if we have any other advisories or major things to talk about with the weather. Back to you.
Our First Alert Weather Center with pinpoint information about the winds on what is the Solimar fire, as it's called. Broke out approximately 9 minutes after 11 o'clock tonight. Ventura County Fire is on the front line of this fire right now. 100 acres have burned, and the freeway is completely shut down. There is a live picture of blowing embers going through Highway 101. All cars stopped at Highway 33 northbound. Highway 101 southbound stopped at Highway 150 with the Sheriff's Department blocking off traffic there. The fire aggressively burning, as you see, in multiple locations there along the freeway corridor, in the canyons. There's a call box there. You can see how close it is to the freeway, and that's exactly why the freeway is shut down. Blowing embers, blowing smoke, flames licking up onto the lanes. If you know someone in the Ventura County area, we have staff coming in and on the scene. This is a live picture of one of our News Channel 3 cameras on the freeway in the fire right now, giving you the first-hand look of the Solimar Beach fire. We are also streaming now as of 12:06 a.m. On KEYT.com. So anyone in Ventura County who's not able to receive us through their cable system or other means can now go on their computer or handheld device and see the pictures that would affect them possibly in their area. So get a hold of your friends down there if you feel that they are near the Highway 33 corridor or the northern part of the city of Ventura. There are no evacuations. The fire is not wildly spreading that area, but we want you to tell them that there is a fire, that they need to be concerned, that they can get information on KEYT.com, that we're streaming the images you see here on your TV on our website and on their handheld devices immediately, so they'll be able to see this picture and get their ready, set, go plan in place to have their valuables, their pets, and what they need to go if they are told to go. Right now, there are no evacuations, to be clear. The city of Ventura is watching this carefully. The police department, the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, and the Highway Patrol have an incident command center that's down there now, and they're putting their game plan together. Obviously, they have one, and they've had one in place forever to be able to respond to what if a fire breaks out. And certainly with these winds blowing tonight, they were all on red alert. Everybody was ready to go if a fire broke out, and we have a fire. And as you see, we have an aggressive fire in the coastal brush, which is not some of the taller trees and canopy we see up in the hills or in the Los Padres. We know what this looks like. We've all driven by Highway 101 in the 33 area. And matter of fact, this image you see here now as we back out to TV Hill in Santa Barbara, zoomed all the way in, this is how visible it is. And I'm getting so many calls and text messages and information from people that are just now waking up or becoming aware of this from Carpinteria, the Rincon area, La Conchita, all very concerned about what's happening. Some can smell it and can't see it. Some are hearing sirens. Some know the freeway has shut down because they can see the back of cars, and they are asking what's going on, what the potential is, what the threat is to their property and their lives, what they should do. And that's why we're trying to relate to you as much as we know through these Frontline on the freeway images from our news crews right in the thick of it to be able to get this to you and give you the firsthand information. Now, while the fire looks aggressive there next to the freeway, obviously there's no structures there. We can also see that the winds, what the strength of the winds is, and this is a very scary and dangerous situation. We have one of our news photographers on the front lines right now who's on the phone. He's in the driving winds. He's in the embers and in the flames, and that's Paul Mahalik. And Paul, where are you now, and what do you see at the front line of this fire, the Solimar fire?
I've walked again a little bit further east, about a half a mile on the 101, up to where I found that the fire has crossed the 101. I was just standing next to the southbound edge of the freeway, and ember came by my right shoulder, landed in the bushes, and within 5 minutes it had become a half-an-acre fire. Embers are flying by. It's heavily wind-driven. As I walk the western edge of the fire, as the wind comes out of the west, it blows cool air on me, and that's how I know when I'm safe, is when I'm having the cool air on me. But as soon as I get too far into it, I feel the heat of the fire take over, and it's time to back up. We've got embers on the road surface. They're blowing over the top of my head, and they're landing on both sides of the 101 here.
Paul, you had been in the Faria Beach area the last time we talked to you about 15 or so minutes ago. Can you tell me, you have not relocated your vehicle, you're on foot, and you are still in the Faria Beach area?
I have walked east from that direction down towards, I don't know how to describe it. There's a small turnout when you get off just west of Ventura. And you can get back on the highway at that point. I think I'm somewhere near that.
Yeah, we're familiar with that area. So now what I want to establish as well from you is that you don't see any particular structures there, but I believe campers are down in that particular zone. Do you see any movement from that, or do you see any campers, or can you see it all?
I can see that section of the beach from here. I can see that roadway, the frontage road, and there are no vehicles on it presently.
So you don't see the campers along the beach down there?
No, I don't, but it's pretty smoky in here. I might not be able to see them from there. I've seen fire department and police vehicles going back and forth on that frontage road, but I really can't see any campers from here.
Okay, that's a good size up of where you are, and that the threat may be going the other direction. Can you tell us as well, coming from Santa Barbara County, have you seen resources coming down the freeway? Have they called in resources from this direction? We're just trying to see what we have and who's going to the scene.
I haven't seen any resources at all coming in from the west. I see them. They're starting to arrive. They're starting to arrive.
Okay.
From the west side, I can see lights coming, and they're going to be here in a few minutes.
Okay, that's a good size up, and thanks, Paul. We've got fire resources coming down from Santa Barbara County. We're also showing a picture, Paul, that you should be aware of a large area on fire. It looks like an entire hillside and several canyons that you're looking at. We have two shots going on here. We have Paul on the phone in one area. We have this camera embedded in the fire scene with our other videographer, Henry Galvan, who is there. Paul cannot see this picture from where he is in his precarious position, but he's giving us a first-hand, boots-on-the-ground report on what the weather conditions are, what the fire he sees is, and what resources he sees, and also...
Okay, we've definitely got a fire truck coming down here now.
Okay, that's...
the first one I've seen.
All right, that would be...
They're pulling over next to us right now. So it's a police vehicle, it's CHP. That's us parked, and we are leaving right now.
All right. So this is California Highway Patrol talking to our news photographer on the scene, who is providing this information directly to you through News Channel 3. And Paul, I don't know what that message was. You may have to relocate.
He's asked us to relocate, and he's told us that it's all right if we go the wrong way on the southbound 101 back to the next exit. It's really getting pretty choked with smoke out here right now. So I think it'd be best if we relocate at this point.
Okay, very good. That's a perfect size up, and thank you so much for getting embedded in this. We do have another cameraman in there, Henry Galvan, who is showing us some live images of an entire hillside on fire and some canyons as well. You know, it was 100 acres 25 minutes ago, and obviously it's grown from that. The measurement of this is always a moving target. It's never a precise measurement in these conditions with these long stretches of high winds, blowing embers, big flames. Now this hillside area, as we say, has the type of brush that is different than the forest brush, but it has the potential to move back into that area if it continues to burn out of control. This is a very difficult time to fight a fire. It's 12:15 in the morning. We have 30 to 45 mile-an-hour winds, depending on where they are. They're erratic in those canyons, unpredictable, hard to fly in that area with aircraft. We have not seen any type of aircraft shot at all, but we do have some notes here that say that some air ops are trying to get up and get a size up where they can using their night vision helicopters that are authorized to fly. And there you see a CHP officer coming up to our camera person at the scene there and giving him some information right now. We don't have the audio up on this particular camera now, but our camera person there, Henry Galvan, embedded in the fire. Let's see if we can listen in.
The fire's going to eventually get you.
Yeah, I know. It's been chasing me down the freeway. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Let's head back, okay?
All right, thank you.
See any more cars over here?
No, it's pretty much clear except for me.
Okay, we're gonna go.
We're going live right now, so that's why I'm kind of just showing what's going on.
Okay, all right.
Trying to keep
Careful,
people up to date. Thank you. Yes.
All right, there you have it. Henry Galvan on the scene talking to the California Highway Patrol. They're securing our position on the front line of news here on the Solimar fire that is burning out of control in the area of northern Ventura County, north of Highway 33, where there is a hard closure by Caltrans and also the CHP, and southbound at Highway 150 out of Santa Barbara County at the base of Carpinteria. No southbound traffic can go through. And no doubt no traffic's going on Highway 33 right now too. So the folks in Ojai are basically landlocked there for now until they can get a size up of this. You are looking at a live picture on the ground on the freeway of the Solimar Beach fire burning in Ventura County now for about an hour. A wildfire driven by strong winds of over 40 miles an hour at times in the brushy hillsides that have no homes that have been damaged or destroyed, and none are in the immediate area. No one has been hurt that we know, and the potential for it to spread remains extremely high in these dangerous conditions. There's the Highway Patrol going back and forth to give the fire department a size up, clearing everybody off the freeway. Our camera has been allowed to stay, and he's backing up as the fire is coming towards him, showered with embers. Our cameraman there is in the midst of this very dangerous and explosive fire that is burning out of control this evening. We're going to take a short break here, get regrouped with all the information you need to know. We're going to go to the weather. Let's go to the Weather Center now and get the very latest on the wind conditions. Claire Anderson is in the First Alert Weather Center.
Thanks, John. I do want to show you this map of exactly where that fire is. It's right as you head south of the Sea Cliff there, and here is the 33, so it's right in this area, and the wind's coming right over the mountainous region. Now, we've been watching this, the live storm tracker Doppler radar. Check out this green right here. This is with our sweeping radar. This is pretty interesting. This is not rain. This is picking up the actual smoke from the fire. You can see it's right in this area, and it shows you the indication of the direction the wind is going, bringing that smoke out towards the Channel Islands. So we're going to continue watching this, but it just shows you what the winds are doing, picking it up for the last hour and bringing it out. So very interesting there. Again, not rain. That is smoke. Looking at our live storm tracker Doppler radar, again, wind speeds currently 42 mile per hour gusts. That's the latest report for the fire area. I will get a fire forecast coming up in just a bit, but we have to get reports from the actual fire crews to get the forecast. So we'll have that shortly. 32 mile per hour winds up into the mountainous areas, and Santa Barbara, Oxnard are seeing very strong conditions. We saw a 50 mile per hour gust at the Santa Barbara Wharf tonight. Santa Barbara has been having some very strong winds, and it's even stronger down south, again towards Oxnard and towards Ventura. wind speeds in the upper 30s. Now, we do have not too strong winds up north, but again, this arrow showing you the indication of the direction that wind speed is going. We do have a high wind warning for the area. Gusts possible up to 60 miles per hour. This is that highest level of warning for winds. And look, it's not stopping anytime soon. This continues through 3 a.m. Saturday morning. So this is going to go on for another few hours. Winds for the Santa Barbara South Coast in the 50s as well. So the entire South Coast area. And check this out. Humidity level. Check out how dry this area is. 28% relative humidity. This shows you how much moisture is in the air. Dry conditions. We didn't see any rain down here over the last 24 hours, unlike the Central Coast area. So keeping a close eye on that. Futurecast winds, I want to show you and accentuate how strong these winds are going to be for how long. This is not good news for fighting those fires. 1:30 this morning, continuing double digits into the 20s in Santa Barbara, going all the way down towards Ojai. Continuing hour by hour through the morning. Mid-20s, Santa Barbara, sustained winds. Those are not including gusts. That's sustained winds. Another problem we could run into tomorrow is a Santa Ana event. That's when the strong winds come over the mountainous regions. Strong winds, dry winds going right over. And that's expected tomorrow. And we're right on the edge of that Santa Ana event area. And that's going to continue again through the afternoon tomorrow. I'm going to keep a very close eye on these wind conditions. And as soon as we get a fire forecast in, I will let you all know. Back to you.
And welcome back to our live continuing coverage of the Solimar fire that broke out just after 11 o'clock tonight, right in the middle of our News Channel 3 evening news on Christmas. Now we're over into the 26th of December, and joining me, CJ Ward, who got up and came down here, and we have our crew in the newsroom now to keep you updated on what's going on with this very explosive and dangerous fire.
Well, we are getting some obviously getting some phone calls in from folks who live in the Faria Beach area. They obviously can see the flames. One thing they're saying is that they believe this started at the top of the hill somewhere on oil property. I think, John, you've been talking about that as well. They also believe, at least the folks who've been calling in here, believe that they're fine as long as the flames continue to head directly toward the ocean. And I think if that's the setup you've been talking about, that's pretty correct. So.
Captain Mike Lindaberry with the Ventura County Fire has joined us live on News Channel 3 with the very latest on what's happening with the Solimar fire. And Captain Lindaberry, thank you very much for joining us. We had heard 100 acres and 47-mile-an-hour winds. What do you got? We lost signal. He's going to call back shortly, and this will be our first update from a fire official now on the scene of this fire. No doubt his phone has been very active to try and get information and relay it out to us. No homes are currently threatened, as we have been saying, in this particular location. There are residents, CJ, that you know, like along Faria Beach, down on the right there on the water line. These are very visible and long-standing homes there, and they are not threatened. It looks like most of the fire is on the mountainside. Captain Lindaberry with the Ventura County Fire Department joining us once again. What's the very latest that you can tell us on the Solimar fire?
Well, we're still looking for a point where we can actually get in and safely attack this fire. You know, with the winds behind it, it's a very touch-and-go situation to get in there and to place people in there. So we're going to look for a spot where we can get folks in there and start getting a line around this. You know, in a wind-driven fire, the most important thing we can do is try to protect what's out in front of that fire any way we can. And we're going to deploy a number of tactics that we can to do that. We've got firefighters out ahead of the fire now, checking things like the Taylor Ranch and looking out ahead of it, seeing what else is threatened. I don't have any updates on acreage right now because our primary concern is to get out there and fight this fire. I do know that the incident commander has requested that the trains on the Union Pacific Railroad be stopped prior to coming into the area, and we do have the closure on 101-3.
Captain Lindaberry, we have been instructing our viewers in the corridor of Highway 33 or northern Ventura County just to be aware of what's happening. We are streaming this on KEYT.com, and to have a ready, set, go plan in place in case there would be an evacuation. Is there a potential for that with what you see in the size of this fire and where it is going?
Well, right now, with the size of the fire, it's burning primarily in oil field areas. And there are three things that we can do. We can evacuate, we can shelter in place, or, we can go ahead and choose just to leave things open at this point, or we can do what we call we'll shelter in place and leave people in their spots. And with the Solimar community right now, that may be the best thing to do because of the danger of trying to pull them out. Those are the only homes in the area that I know of at this time.
Have you brought fire engines down in there for structure protection, or is it at that point yet?
Yeah, we've got a number of engines spread out throughout that area now, along the highway and along PCH, and we will keep those engines there until we determine that they're not needed at all anymore.
So how problematic are the winds right now for you guys? And two, is there any help coming in from outside this area to help fight this fire?
We've made requests from Santa Barbara County. We've made requests to LA County, and I'm sure that we're in the process of putting more requests for equipment through what we call South Ops down in Riverside. They control all of the equipment that's responding to major fires throughout Southern California. Getting back to your ready, set, go message, I do want to make sure that we let people know in that area to monitor conditions, monitor your station as you watch this, and also monitor local sheriffs and OES and make sure that you are ready. If you're in that area, have things ready to go. If you need to go, but it's best to have things ready and not have to go than to have to leave suddenly and leave important things behind. So be prepared at this point. It looks like the fire is flanking the freeway for the most part, which means running in the same direction of the freeway. But wind changes could change everything.
We have been tracking the wind and the weather from our First Alert Weather Center. Do you have some weather information where you're at about what precisely in those canyons is the potential for this? It looks like it's been a little mixed up down there, first offshore and then maybe going back up towards 33. So we're getting maybe mixed signals. Do you see the same thing?
Right. Well, there could, yeah, and the reason being right now is that with the winds on that, we get a lot of current changes, as you would see with eddies and swirling winds. But the primarily, I've been told that the winds, are flanking down the freeway. So that's what's pushing this fire so far down. They are saying that we have about 30 homes threatened in the Solimar Beach housing area, and I haven't heard any comments on as to how they're going to work with that right now. We will, as we build up our organization here, be getting spot weather forecasts from the National Weather Service. Give us an idea of what we're going to be dealing with hourly over the next several hours as we fight this fire.
Captain Lindenberry, can you fly over this in these conditions? Do we have the clearance for helicopters to get up and fly, or with infrared? I've forgotten what happens now with these kinds of wind conditions and visibility conditions with the most modern helicopters we're flying now.
Yeah, you know what? They do have cutoff points. As far as I know, at this point, they are flying. But if the winds reach up to a certain area, and that's going to that may vary from the different ships, they're going to have to ground those ships. One of the ships we requested was LA County, and our Ventura County Sheriff's Copter 7 is also on scene. Those ships have night flying capabilities, so one of the advantages that we're going to have here is that if we do have those ships up there, we're going to be able to start getting water on this fire tonight, which will give us a good position, good footing for tomorrow.
How much? What's the fuel like back there? I can't imagine that this area has burned in a long, long time. What kind of fuel do you have back there? How much is back there?
It varies. And one of the things about the oil infrastructure back there is that there are a lot of roads built in, and there are some areas where we've had some fires. what we see from that is a lot of grass or light hills, but we do have pockets of medium to heavy brush up there. Primarily what this fire is pushing in is those light grasses. That's why we've seen, with that wind behind it, fire moving so quickly.
You know, I was telling our viewers a short time ago that you get a fire and you get a game plan together on that precise fire, but you have a game plan. And can you express for our viewers just how, when these winds started kicking up tonight, and even in the days ahead, of course, with the drop, but with just precisely tonight, as you saw this forecast, what strategic moves the Ventura County Fire Department was already putting into place in the event of any fire in this or other areas?
Well, what we look at, and it wasn't just tonight, we've known this wind event was going to be coming for a few days. And even though we are in the middle of the holidays, we put several people on standby, and then we staffed up extra equipment. So we had extra equipment ready to go and ready to respond to this incident, and headed out. We had our copters staffed and ready to go, and obviously, like I said, having those copters out there at night is a good way to go. And then, you know, I just want to say that the local engine companies spend out a lot of time out there planning and pre-planning these areas. So, you know, it's an ongoing process for us. But, you know, when we get something like this with a large wind behind it, something that grows this quickly, it usually takes a bit for us to get in there and get the resources organized and get a good fire attack going.
All right, thank you so much. I know you have your hands full to do just that for everyone that needs the information, and we're going to be watching your feeds back to us via Twitter, your direct calls to our News Channel 3 set here, and some of the other information coming out all night long from the Ventura County Fire Department. Captain, thank you so much for your time. An extended interview with us live here on News Channel 3.
So just a recap of what he said. So we got 30 homes in the Solimar Beach area that are threatened at this point. Train traffic has stopped. At least the request has been put in to stop train traffic at this point. And really, he said their primary concern right now is to fight this fire. And it sounds like they haven't even got the firefighters into the zone to try and fight this fire because it's just not safe.
And you know, I was listening because we were looking for some of that planning, like what roads are even there to go in. Obviously, if it's oil property, it's private property, but they have access there to meet with the businesses like they do everywhere and kind of make a plan. They have to, and they do that well in advance. But when it happens, it's the dark of the night. Visibility is very limited to zero. The danger factor is so high, and in many cases, they don't exactly go right in until they size up what they have, so they don't drive right into a wall of flames themselves. They make a
well, you can imagine it's probably a maze of back roads. Yeah. You've got the wind blowing at 45 miles an hour, gusts up to 60 miles an hour, and the smoke and the ash flying around. Yeah, very, very, very dangerous back there.
And if you drive that freeway as much as we do, you know that there is enough brush to burn, but there also are some wormy roads back there that are out of our sight as soon as they get over the top of the little front country ridge line. But earlier today, we saw in our coverage the blowing embers on both sides of the freeway, and that's why the folks down there at Solimar Beach are certainly awake and on edge. The good news was the Ventura County Fire Department and the added resources coming in from Ventura City and other agencies have gone down there. 30 homes are down there. They have structure protection. The fire is not coming in any type of a wall of flames, and if I recall correctly, there's a lot of agriculture down in that area, or strawberry fields or what have you. And
you mean once you're on the beach side of the freeway, yes.
So those homes down there, but with these blowing embers, as we know, they can sometimes spot a quarter of a mile or more in front of where you see fire. And earlier, CJ, as you were coming here to the set, Paul Mahalik was on the phone with us, our Frontline News Channel 3 videographer, and he was on the roadside in an area he thought he was safe, and he saw burning embers coming over him, and he backed up, and in 5 minutes, the fuel next to him was on fire. So he had to clear out, and he saw just how fast the embers could get there and start a fire, and he took off.
Yeah, most people think that the flames just roll across the ground like a carpet. They don't, especially in winds like this, because like you said, they can spot, they hop. It's like hopscotching. And that's the danger of a fire like this. And we've had crews that have been out there covering fires. John, you've been in the middle of it many times where the sparks are flying around. We had a photographer probably 6-7 years ago covering the tea fire who got embers in his eyes and burned his eyes pretty badly. So you have to really, really be careful when you're in this kind of situation.
Our Henry Galvan was at the other camera that we've been showing a shot of. We haven't seen that in a while. I'm not sure if he has cleared out as well for his safety. He was interacting with the Highway Patrol. They were concerned about his safety. He was right in the middle, and the only live camera that we know of that was in the middle of the fire scene on the freeway, and embers were blowing all around him. And I know that situation is very scary but he had his safe zone, the asphalt, but then you have the superheated air, you have embers blowing at you, you are obviously distressed a little bit out there because of the heat, and you are trying to figure out your coordinates, what's your escape plan, what's your game plan. You are alone out there. These Frontline videographers are taking some risks to bring us these pictures tonight live on News Channel 3. The big shot you're seeing here, by the way, is the one we're shooting from the top of the station here in Santa Barbara, super zoomed in as far as we can go here.
Well, think about how many miles that away that is. So that gives you a little relation, too.
Years gone by, we have seen the hill between La Conchita and Bates Road catch on fire there, and you can see that from here real clearly, and they were able to get that. It's that same type of brush, I think, in this area. So there you have live picture. Highway 101 closed in both directions of the Solimar fire that broke out shortly after 11 o'clock tonight. We were doing our evening news at the time and had calls into our newsroom. There was smoke and flames being seen down along the coastline of Ventura. And right after that, this fire grew and grew rapidly with some very strong winds that were just buffering the south coast. We had our building shaking here in Santa Barbara, and Claire Anderson in our First Alert Weather Center was seeing these increments of 30, 40, 45 mile an hour winds or something close to it, all the way down to this area where the fire broke out, and then we knew it was going to spread and spread quickly.
So we're going to take a quick break. We are going to be right back with more on this fire in Ventura County.